Welcome along to the latest of this series of Pixiecasts, and I've come back to the UK after my virtual trip over to the States, both East Coast and West Coast, where I interviewed Kate Hester and Jim Steely, and Kate Hester was 5. Kate Hester was 5. Kate Hester was 5, which means Jim Steely was 6. Jim Steely was 6. Jim Steely was 6. And if Jim Steely was 6, Lee Phillip is 7. Lee Phillip is 7. Lee Phillip is 7. Good evening, Lee. What's it like to be godlike?
Well, Kenny Dalglish was number 7 as well.
Oh, you've got me. You've got me in the palm of your hand already. What a great start.
Indeed. So he was my hero as a child,
and mine as well.
So supported Liverpool. Didn't have any parental guidance on the sports side, Andrew. So it was only what I saw on the telly and in the papers. So yeah, Dalglish. I even supported Scotland.
You even supported Scotland, did you? Wow.
Well, why wouldn't you? Your hero's Scottish.
Back in the days of Ali McCoist and Jock Stein and others.
Absolutely, yeah.
Brilliant.
And
well, that is
England weren't at the '78 World Cup. So.
No, they weren't. No, you're quite right. You're not old enough to remember all this, mate. Surely.
Yeah, just.
Are you? Well, I was going to ask you about that actually. I won't embarrass you by asking you your age, but we'll talk about your skateboarding and your love of skateboarding a bit later on, and whether you ought to be doing that, a man of your age. But I know you still are. So anyway, thank you for coming along. It's great to see you again. We have met a couple of times at Plymouth and at Birmingham. So tell us a little bit about yourself. You live in Cheltenham, of course, the hometown of a certain John Cole as well. Is he a drinking buddy of yours, or are you not brave enough?
Not yet. We haven't yet managed to get together to have a drink. I did pass him this year. He was with his girls. They were taking him out, spoiling him for his birthday, and I was on my way into town. I think it was just as the restaurants had opened, so and they were doing the old eat out to help out. So we passed, and it was like, you haven't seen me. Yes, I have, definitely. So yeah.
So not brave enough to go out drinking with him quite yet, though.
Not yet. I think we're sort of on. I'm south side. I think he might be north side. So not that I think there's any ghetto type element.
Right. What, in Cheltenham? Oh God, it's dreadfully posh in Cheltenham, isn't it?
Well, I don't know.
I can't imagine there's any rough sides of Cheltenham. I suppose there are, but they would be very tame, I would imagine. Another Pixies link there. But I'm not going to start singing that. Don't worry. So, what do you do for a job then, Lee?
Me?
Yeah.
I've been in IT and financial services pretty much since I left college. I had a little stint doing some artwork in Southampton for one of the local newspapers. But it was temporary. So I wish maybe I pursued that creative side a bit more. But I had a business degree. I think early 90s, there was a bit of still the end of a recession in the UK.
I remember it. I was working for NatWest Bank as well at the time. So I remember it well.
So I ended up needed a job once I finished at the newspaper, and ended up selling insurance. No cold calling. I refused to do that.
Good man.
And that's for a company probably no longer exists, called Eagle Star.
Oh yeah, I know.
So selling sort of car insurance, home insurance, and got a bit bored of that, and got a secondment to Cheltenham. So it was a 3-month secondment turned into 2 years.
And you've been there ever since.
Decided to stay here, yeah. So I moved out of a financial company onto the software side. Yeah, business analyst, business consultant, system tester, sort of done quite a wide range of stuff.
And Exeter born and bred as well.
Yes, certainly for the first 5-6 years of my life, and then started to get further southwest. Couple of years in Plymouth, and then
we'll brush over that. That's fine.
Yeah. Well, there's some good record shops in Plymouth.
I'll take your word for it.
When I was working there, but sort of grew up in Cornwall, so not too far from where old Pixie Mum lives now. So
Indeed.
in Lanson,
Yes.
in Lanson, and I was on the Tamar border.
Okay.
Carrington, home of Ginter's pasties.
Oh yeah, sponsors of Plymouth Argyle. Yeah, we won't go down that road either.
No.
But born and bred in Exeter, a fan of Liverpool and a fan of Pixies. You and me, we should be friends for life. So doesn't get much better than that.
Indeed.
So Pixies, when did they enter your life then?
Well, someone asked that on the Facebook group the other day, so I gave a very brief answer. So I hadn't really heard of them at the time. I was just in my sixth form, so we're talking 88, been in the sixth form for about a year, and just starting to develop musical taste and things like that. And I came across an advert for Surfer Rosa in, I think it was the Face magazine. One of my friends at college, her dad worked for printers, and I think they did GQ and Arena and all those sort of types of fashion and culture magazines at the time.
Yeah.
And I just fell in love with that black and white picture. And
the one that keeps getting banned on Facebook, you mean?
One that keeps getting banned.
I can't imagine what appealed to a young man and looking at that photo.
Hey, I had it cut out. It was in my locker, and some dweeb stole it. I don't know what attracted them to that. So on one of my, I couldn't drive at the time, so had to get a very long bus journey into Plymouth to get to the decent record shop, because I think John Menzies and Saltash, wasn't stocking.
You're not going to find Pixies there, are you? No.
Dire Straits, plenty of Dire Straits.
Yeah, Spandau Ballet maybe.
And that, yeah. And I couldn't, at the time, I couldn't afford Surfer Rosa. But in the same section was Come On Pilgrim.
Right.
So it was probably about £1.50 cheaper. But in those days, £1.50 went a long way.
Absolutely, yeah.
So I bought Come On Pilgrim. And took it home, put it on stereo, and, just sucked into it. So
brilliant.
Yeah, that was my first exposure. So 88, Come On Pilgrim, and took it into the sixth form common room, put it on the hi-fi there. A lot of strange looks with some of the tracks, but really good.
Excellent, and you've been a fan ever since.
Been a fan ever since, but I think Reading 1990. So Reading 89 was, I think that was basically my first proper concert. I did dig out. So this isn't Pixies, sorry.
Okay.
So this should have been my first concert.
Okay.
Except my mini Clubman estate was in the Knackers yard.
Okay.
So I couldn't go and see the Wonder Stuff up in Bristol in March '89.
So did you go to Gloucesterhire '89? Because that's when I first saw Pixies.
No, I didn't.
And I saw Wonder Stuff as well the same day. And I think I told this story on one of the other Pixiecasts. I had viral flu, and I only managed one day and had to drive home. But I did see Wonder Stuff and Pixies. Yeah, for the first time. Yeah.
No, I waited till Reading because it was on the bank holiday.
Okay.
I just started work.
Yeah.
Then
so remind me, who else? I was there '89 at Reading as well. So remind me who else was on the bill then?
Well, it was a very wet bank holiday.
This was a good times for a Reading festival, wasn't it? It was a decent lineup there. New Order and Pogues. Yeah, I spoke about the Pogues I think the other day when I was talking to Lisa Simpson about Shane McGowan just basically being pissed, and he was just sat down for virtually the whole 2 hours that they were on stage, and didn't do much singing.
It was indeed.
You remember that as well, and it poured, didn't it? It poured for New Order. Yeah, absolutely chucked it down. Yeah.
The first 2 days were pretty wet, but the last day was, the sun came out. It really didn't take long with all that moshing and stomping for that.
Who was headlining on the Sunday?
That was the Mission.
Yeah, I didn't stay for that.
No.
I've never been a goth.
I was there for the Wonder Stuff, and then the constipation eased off, so I had to go and
If you thought Reading was bad, then you should try Glastonbury. Jeez, that certainly brings on the constipation.
I bet. I was a Reading fan through and through. So the following year was, as we can see, my first Pixies concert.
Yep, I was there that year as well. Missed out on the Cramps again. Not really my thing, but
yeah, I can't remember if I saw them. I think I did.
Who was headlining the second stage? Because there was only 2 stages then, wasn't it?
There were. So on the,
I think there was a comedy stage, but there was a big marquee as well, wasn't there?
Yeah, I'm just trying to think. I don't think this is necessarily in the Mean Fiddler stage as it was.
Right. Okay.
In order, but Tom Robinson Band. But yeah, that's probably about right. Actually, looking at the list, Martin Stevenson and the Dainties.
Yeah.
On the Saturday.
That. Yeah.
Which I managed to get backstage with it at Exeter.
Oh wow! Okay.
Because my then girlfriend was a big fan,
and did you
recognise her?
Did you see Pixies in Exeter as well, 1990 on the Bossa Nova tour?
I didn't, no.
Oh, okay.
So there was a big hiatus in terms of myself being able to see the Pixies.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so much music about them, but they, you know, I at the time I wouldn't necessarily say I was their biggest fan. There's a lot of music that I was into.
Yeah.
And I think, I mean, Kate mentioned it about, you know, being on the second to last interview about, you know, Pixies. I think maybe it was more in tune with Frank Black and the Catholics, but talking about, you know, road trip.
Yeah.
And with me, you know, when I started working and then having to drive off and go to client sites or other, you know, our own work location, and you sort of dig through the CDs, flicking through, and then Pixies just became a staple. And over the years, it was just like, you know, they were just my go-to band, and it probably wasn't really. I didn't get them again. Didn't get to see them again on the initial reunion tour.
Okay.
And then back in 2009 when they did the Doolittle tour, it was like, oh, I've just got to go and see these. I've got to go and see these again. You know, I'm playing them pretty much every time I'm in the car. So yeah, I went down to Brixton for that. I think I paid over the odds for my ticket because
everyone was at that Brixton gig apart from me, I think.
Yeah.
Don't know where I was. I missed out.
Did they do a couple of nights there?
They must have done. Yeah, I don't know. They must have done. I'll have to look it up.
And I even, even again, I even made myself. This is before the age of smartphones, or at the very early stage. Certainly, I wasn't an early adopter of smartphones. Okay. So I did have a digital camera. And so I made myself a little photo, but you know, the photographs are pretty rough and ready. You know, there's some of the obviously the how you can see that. You know,
that looks pretty impressive to me, mate.
All the visuals. Yeah, it's pretty good, but it's a good memory. I mean, you know, the pictures. I mean, that is blurred, but yeah. To me, it just shows the frenetic energy that was.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's great colours and everything. Yeah, no, that's lovely. Yeah,
I'll try and put some of these up on the site. So they're certainly not perfect photos. I mean, look at that.
Yeah, but like you say, I mean, yeah, but it sort of transmits the energy, doesn't it, of a Pixies gig?
Indeed. Yeah, it was amazing. So, and then after that, it was right. Where are they playing?
Yeah,
is it easy? I think the next time I'll refer to my notes wherever I put them.
You mean you've prepared for this tonight?
Well, a little, you know. I didn't want to have too many uncomfortable silences. Not that I would with you, Andrew. Of
course not.
So yeah, the Brixton. The following year, they were at Primavera in Barcelona, and that was on my birthday. Can't tell you which one.
Right. So you went to that, yeah?
Pretty darn good, yeah. And
wow.
then the next one, Eden Project.
Yeah.
not too far from where my folks live.
No, of course.
So that was a shoe-in, really. As soon as they were there, it's like, right, I'm going. And that was a pretty good gig. I know a lot of people share the Gouge Away video from the Eden Project. And then
that's not you, is it? With long hair, the bloke at the front in the meme.
No. I'd like to think it was. I was right side of stage.
I don't think you'd like to beat him, would you? Really?
Probably about 10 rows back. No, no. But he looks like he's having a good time.
Yeah, he does. So you got all the albums, and
yes, a couple of copies of some of the later ones, and a few signed as well.
And I know you're into your vinyl and that as well, and I'm going to come on to that a little bit later on as well. So okay. I guess you've got some of them on vinyl as well.
Pretty much all of them on vinyl.
Yeah. All right. So you're one of these that you get the vinyl, you get the CD, and I mean tapes are outdated now, but you get them in all the versions, do you?
CD and vinyl, and with I think the Beneath the Eyrie box set. You've got the cassette anyway, so that is the only cassette I have of theirs.
Okay, cool. So you are you proper fan. So out of all that, then, can you pick me just one track? If you're on the desert island and you've got to save one track from Pixies.
So it took a lot of soul searching, and I think, I like my films as well. People ask you what your favourite film is, and I think it depends. But I have set upon a favourite track.
Okay.
And that is going to be River Euphrates.
River Euphrates.
Yeah.
And why is that then? I mean, it's a great track.
I don't know. I just love the sort of harmony. I'm not very good at karaoke, so I won't do that too often. But I just love, the chorus, the build up to it, and the outro. If you ask me for a segment on an album, I think I've said before on the Facebook group, I'm probably more so on vinyl. I love the way bossa nova, you turn over from side A into side B.
Yeah,
I love those tracks.
Mm-hmm.
But River Euphrates, or Number 13, but no, we're going to stick on River Euphrates.
Lovely, good man. I've written it down now, so that's it. That's the one that you're going to be getting on the link.
Okay.
Cool. So, okay, so your love of vinyl. I know on your Facebook page there's quite a lot of posts about you going to a record shop, which I guess is in Cheltenham, which you obviously support. Yeah.
Badlands.
Spend a lot of time and a lot of money in there, do you?
Well, not a lot of time in there over the last 6 months for obvious
No, of course.
reasons.
Yeah.
They have just opened up for guests. But over the course of my time in Cheltenham, I've got to know some of the people who work there, not necessarily from having worked in Badlands, but they worked in other record shops, or they were friends of people and they just then happened to fall there. The Badlands, support your local record shop.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah.
We've got an HMV. I'll stick my head in there occasionally because money can be tight, so you do want to price that.
Indeed, and of course we heard the sad story the other day when I was talking to Lisa Simpson about her losing her entire vinyl collection as well. So it was very sad.
Yeah, not good.
How many have you got in your collection then, would you say?
Not as many as Lisa. 300 maybe.
Okay, enough then.
A lot of them are 12 inches though, and they're all from back in that period.
After 12 inches were a thing, weren't they, for a while?
Through the sixth form, the early 90s.
Mm-hmm.
A bit more maybe discerning now over what I buy, but I've had a bit of a can't think of the right word. A hemorrhage on my wallet is probably on record store day. There were a few things in there that I wanted, but no.
And this from a
Pixies
man who
skills.
works in the finance industry.
Oh, indeed, yeah. Don't come to me with advice.
You only live once. You've got to spend it on 7, haven't you?
Indeed.
So, and you wanted to say something, or I think something in the chat that I had with Lisa Simpson just sort of sparked a memory for you as well. I think about Gregory's Girl.
Yes. So yeah, Gregory's Girl. So I agree with you. Fantastic film. And
It is a great film.
And it back when I saw it, I don't know whether it was the same for you, but it was shown as a double bill.
Right.
With Chariots of Fire, and I did as soon as I saw that interview, I had to Google it because in my head it was like I saw that with another film.
Oh, wow.
And I was correct. It was Chariots.
Yeah. Okay.
However, I think Gregory's Girl was on second, and I remember when I went to see it. So we're talking 81. I'm a 10-year-old boy, and I probably don't know anything about sex.
Yeah.
I don't know anything. I didn't know anything about sex.
We're going to talk about sex now, listener.
Yeah. I'm glad you didn't say we're going to talk about sex, baby.
I stopped short of that.
Yeah.
I mean, I like you, but not that much.
Okay, that's good. Good to hear. So after Chariots of Fire, I think I went out to the bathroom and then came back into the cinema, and Gregory's Girl had started. And I think the opening scene is they're looking up at a window with a girl taking her top off.
That's right.
And I thought I'd walked into the wrong screen. And I was like, oh, what do I do now? So I found a seat.
Of course.
Anyway, yeah. But so that reminds me of that. And the other thing Lisa reminded me of, which is again a bit tenuous, but it reminded me, was she mentioned Vivienne Westwood. And about 10 years ago in TK Maxx, I found this Vivienne Westwood tie, and it reminded me of Bossa Nova, so I had to buy it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I see what you mean.
It's a tie I wear it's sort of a bit of a wedding tie. It's got those colours to it, but yeah, it's got that.
What does that sticker say on it?
It's not a sticker. It's woven in.
What does it say? Rock. Let it rock. Okay, cool.
So to me, that was my little Bossa Nova. Yes.
Excellent. So as a man of sartorial elegance as well, then.
Wow. T-shirt and shorts.
What's the T-shirt that you're wearing tonight? Is that a band one? I can't see it. Wedding present.
Wedding present.
Oh, good man.
Another 1989 sort of revelation.
Hopefully Dean will be watching that. Dean Young will be watching it. He's a big wedding present fan, as is Kelly Loney as well. So another great band. Seen them a few times as well.
Yeah.
So lovely, excellent. This is all going swimmingly well. So so a big vinyl fan, and moving on then into Pixies breaking up. Do you remember when they broke up and how you felt about it, or were you not really into music in a big way then at that stage?
I wasn't as big into Pixies then as I am now. So it didn't. I think it was sort of, that's a shame. There's probably going to be something else to move on to. So it wasn't, as I explained earlier, it wasn't until the latter years that I thought, why do I keep going back to this band? There's something about them. So at the time, I think there was too much other music going on.
Sure.
The fickleness of youth. So I wasn't gutted.
Right.
But I was elated when they did reform.
Yeah.
I've got no preference over, dare I mention it, V1, V2, or however you call it.
Yeah.
They're still making that music. They still get up on that stage and they knock out 90 minutes worth of songs, 30 plus tracks.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm there for. And it's just, obviously track after quality track.
Indeed.
You can't go wrong with them.
But what about Frank Black's solo career then? How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I did. I'm not that au fait. I have spent lockdown. I did do a big Amazon, right? What haven't I got? Pretty much everything. Yeah. So I haven't got any on vinyl apart from last year's Teenager of the Year and Frank Black release on vinyl.
Uh-huh.
So I did get the CD for Teenager of the Year back in the day.
Yeah.
And I loved Pong.
Okay.
Whatever Happened to Pong.
Yeah.
As an opening track. But again, I don't think it quite sold me at the time. So I'm going back through the solo career and the Catholics catalogue slowly.
Right. Okay.
But if you're going to ask me what's my favourite,
I am going to ask you. Yeah.
Then Threshold Apprehension.
Okay.
I quite like that. I like the sound. A lot of my liking for the Pixies is some of the sound as well as the harmony. So I like the shouty stuff and the off-kilter guitar. So.
You don't shout. You don't come across as being a shouty type of person. So that's your release, then, is it? Sat in your room there and shouting at the Pixies.
Probably. Yeah. I don't know whether that's a paradox, because when I left school in '89 and I first started working for an trainee accountant, they didn't think I suited accountancy because I'd rock in at lunchtime with my latest purchase. Look, the Reverb motherfuckers, check that out, orange vinyl. And I just think they thought, I wasn't grey and straight enough for it. But then on the other, you look at it from a different perspective, and I'm pretty normal.
Absolutely. Okay. So another big passion of yours, I know, is skateboarding.
Well, you do say skateboarding. It is more snowboarding.
Oh, snowboarding, is it? Oh, okay.
It is snowboarding.
Sorry, I thought it was a skateboard. I do apologise.
It is a skateboard, but I think you're probably going to ask me to.
We've got to see it. We've got to see it.
So yeah, last year, is it Eddie Vedder from Pearl Jam? I think he's got a charity. Yeah. He's got a charity. He works with turning sort of urban swimming pools into skate parks. So he was raising money for that. And basically had a skateboard design, and with the collaboration with Pixies of Monkey Gone to Heaven. And I think it was one design with 6 different colour sort of boards, 25 of each. It wasn't marketed or sold through the UK site. So I had to get it from the American site.
Okay.
And as we all know, you order from there, the import charges. But I thought I cannot not have that. So I did get that. And when we went to the Birmingham concert, and they were doing one of the signings there, I thought, why not take it with me? So,
absolutely.
So
I've seen this, of course, because I saw you in Birmingham.
You've seen it in the flesh, in the
flesh, as it were. Yeah.
There we go.
That is a thing of beauty, isn't it? It really is.
So really nice design, and you see, it's got the different frames of the monkey going down the banisters, knocking himself out on his way to heaven, and then I don't know how well it's going to come out on the camera work.
Yeah, no, that's fine. We can see those. That's good.
You can see, I think we got So Black Francis, Paz, Joey S, and Dave's on the bottom.
There we go. That is beautiful. That's a great piece of work.
So it's staying in this plastic wrapper.
I was going to say that's not to be used, is it? That one?
Oh no. Particularly as I can't skateboard, so it could see some damage.
Okay. Oh, I'm disappointed now. I thought you were like a proper skater boy around Cheltenham.
No. I did buy one at the start of lockdown, but only to try and help me with my snowboarding.
Oh, okay. So can we have a look at that photo behind you then of you snowboarding?
Yeah, this was a few years ago when I was a bit younger, and that's
that looks terrifying.
yeah, it wasn't too bad. I don't know if anyone likes chocolate, but that mountain is the Matterhorn. You can see it on a
Yeah, I thought I recognised it.
Toblerone.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, there was a photographer up on the mountain with a jump, and it was like, right, let's have a go. So yeah.
So this was what? How long ago?
I think we're probably talking 11 years ago.
Oh, okay.
I was still in my 30s.
I was just about, yeah, I was trying to sort of roughly work it out. So, yeah. So was that the start of your midlife crisis then, was it, to do that?
Yes. I think I've been boarding for about 10 years, Andrew. So
wow, that looks incredible.
In the early days, it was more, the après during,
before, during, and after. Yeah.
Absolutely, but yeah, I got to an age where it's like, well, if I'm going to get any better at this, I need to cut back on that. And so yeah, wanted to get more out of the mountain rather than a face full of snow.
Yeah, that looks absolutely amazing though. What a fantastic experience. Brilliant. Okay, so I'm not quite sure where we were in the history of the Pixies, but so moving on then. So you've chosen a Frank Black solo career track. So moving on to the Catholics. So do you like the Catholics' music?
The Catholics, again, as I sort of mentioned, I'm very new to it. Gone on Spotify and chosen, the Frank Black playlist. And for me, the one that probably sticks out most to me is Dog in the Sand.
It's a popular one, I think, with people. Certainly the album's popular, and that track is also popular. Sorry, I'm just writing this down so as I remember.
That's all right.
Because otherwise I get to the end of it, and unless I watch it all the way through again, I forget what people have chosen. So, okay, so Dog in the Sand it is. I think that's the second time that one's been chosen from the Catholics. And the Catholics, quite different. I am now starting to listen to their stuff, and I know a lot of people say it's possibly a bit more sort of country type music than sort of Pixies music and that.
Yeah, Americana sort of style, which I certainly don't dislike, but I'm fairly new to that as a sort of musical genre theme.
Yeah.
So yeah, part of my lockdown purchases.
Yeah.
I'll work my way through them. I'm probably not as fussy over music as I might, or fussy or snobby as I might have been in my youth.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot of good stuff out there, and the group has opened my eyes. I looked again, going back to Lisa's interview, Wonk Unit, love it.
Absolutely.
So we'll be listening to more. You got James Skeen on the group.
Yeah. He's coming on at some stage as well.
Do a lot of stuff. So and numerous others. Don't be offended if I haven't mentioned you, because it's all great. It's a good little community there.
I just want to nip back to the skateboard. So you took that to the venue on the day of the gig, and you presented the four of them with your skateboard to be signed. Did any of them make any comment about it?
Well, I don't know whether I should talk about this really.
Are you breaking a confidence?
Yeah, well, I was a bit underwhelmed. I'm not breaking a confidence.
Okay.
I didn't choose to be first in the queue, but I wanted to be near the front.
Yeah.
And when I went up, it's the first time I probably met people who I really look up to.
Yeah.
And I think that before we went in, the security guard was winding me up big time about counting down, or you're going to get to see them. And yeah, they pretty much kept themselves.
Yeah.
But Joey did sort of go, "Oh, isn't this?" And they just kept on talking amongst themselves.
Yeah.
But they signed. They looked up at the camera. It was fine. Frank, I also had a copy of Frank's Good In book
Okay.
Well, Charles is good in, but
Yeah.
which I only realised the day before. I'd actually got signed by the co-writer and illustrator.
Wow.
I picked that up as a souvenir of the Come On Pilgrim, it's Surfer Rosa tour. So after that gig, I was wandering around London the next day and popped in, and I thought, oh, I wonder if they got a copy of that. But I didn't realise it was signed. So now I've got it signed by all three. Josh
Brilliant.
and forgive me, the other guy, but I can't remember the other one. But so yes, so I've got a nice signed collection there.
Fabulous. Yeah, I think those things are always a little bit sort of you don't really know how to be, do you? You don't really know how to interact, and that if you don't really know them, and you don't want to come across as being like, oh, I really love you, I think you're brilliant, and all that sort of stuff.
Absolutely, yeah. I think I prepared a question about, because Birmingham was the fourth, because they did I can't remember where it was, but on the southeast coast they did a warm-up gig. Then it was Cardiff and Plymouth. So I got to Cardiff, where I met Adele, and then she introduced me to some of the wider family.
Lovely.
At the time, and then obviously Plymouth, etc. So, but when we got to Birmingham and the signing, I was going to Plymouth, despite Plymouth being Plymouth. And the no-show, slow, whatever the support.
Oh yeah, the slow show.
Very talented musicians. Very talented.
They were okay for the first 10 minutes, and then the novelty wore off. That was how I felt about them.
It was a bit of the same. So, and I think particularly when you're going to see a band that you absolutely love, with 1,000% more adrenaline and whatever. So maybe not the best choice. But sorry, my question at the signing was going to be, what did you think of Plymouth? They, when you were on, I thought out of the 3 gigs I went to, Plymouth being the middle one, there's been some people who have been, they haven't seen Pixies, because I think the only other time they probably went that far was Exeter in '89, maybe Exeter a few years after that, but Eden Project in 2014. So they've been starved of having that on their doorstep.
Yeah, because I don't think they've even played in Bristol, actually, that I can think of. They may well have done, but can't think.
I remember one guy at the Plymouth gig wasn't part of the group that I know of, or the family. And I remember him coming out, and probably had a couple of beers and the rest. And he was just like, "Oh, we're blessed, Pixies in Plymouth." So fair play. I think I'd have probably been like that.
Listen, mate, if you're from Plymouth, then anything like that happens, you feel blessed. So, Janners. A janner, for anyone who doesn't know, is is it a derogatory term? It's certainly a term anyway for someone from Plymouth.
I don't know whether it's derogatory, actually.
No.
I didn't hear much about it. I didn't even hear that term, I don't think, till I moved away.
No. I refer to them as bloody janners. So, especially if their team wins and Exeter City don't. But that's another story. Anyway, so you met the guys, a little bit underwhelming, which I can completely understand as well. I think they're quite odd sort of situations. The only time that similar sort of thing has happened to me, and I didn't plan it, or I didn't sort of line up for merchandise. Actually, twice. Going back to Gregory's Girl, I once met Claire Grogan, because I had a big crush on Claire Grogan, and I loved Altered Images in the early 80s, and they played at Exeter University as well, and they were giving away giant posters of the band, and I did get that autographed by Claire Grogan, and I put my hand on her shoulder as well. So, and she smiled at me and said hello in a thick Glaswegian accent. So that was a big moment for me. And second time was when I went to see Echo.
Have you washed the shoulder? No, you touched her shoulder. I
touched her shoulder. I hope she's washed it since then. So Claire Grogan, and the only other time I was in Bournemouth, and I went to see Echo and the Bunnymen, who are a big love of mine as well. And it was at the time when Ian McCulloch wasn't actually with them, so they had a different singer, an Irish guy called Noel Burke. And it was just in this tiny little club just around the corner from where I was in my digs at university, and I was just at the bar, and suddenly I noticed that Will Sargent, the lead guitarist, and Les Patterson, who was the bass player at the time, was stood next to me, and I just got chatted with them, and they bought me a beer, which was really lovely of them. And they spent the next half an hour or so just slagging off Ian McCulloch, which was hilarious to me. And but the point of my story is that they invited me backstage afterwards, which was kind of great. But you know, you're in like this tiny little sort of changing room, and they're all hot and sweaty and all the rest of it, and I'm stood there like a prat. And you know, what do you say? What do you say to them? You know, oh, great gig, yeah, I love that. Or you're much better than Ian McCulloch and all this sort of stuff. You know, so yeah, so those sort of situations are a little bit sort of bit forced, aren't they? Or they can be.
They can be, yeah. I think it's you know what we've sort of seen on the group when I think is it Shane and Joey took his bike or something.
Yes, yeah, you're right. Yes, I forgot about that.
And that, you know, that's probably so much more natural. It's just, you know, there you go. I mean, they know they're there for a job, and you know, they don't know me from Adam or Andrew or anyone else.
Yeah.
So they had loads to do that day, I'm sure, and to get through. So indeed. Yeah. So I did turn up at the gig, despite the fact I was, I'm not going to turn.
That's all right. I can vouch for you. You definitely were there.
I definitely were there, and that was a nice little pub you guys found to
it was
that mini happening.
Yeah. No, it was good. It was good. Yeah.
So, it was really good.
Decent selection of beers, as I remember.
Yeah, well, Guinness in the winter.
Can't go wrong.
We're talking of just about a year ago, I think, aren't we?
Yeah, it's September. Yeah, it was. Yeah, so it's September, October.
Give or take a week.
Yeah, it must be. Yeah,
the big Guinness back then.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, happy memories. Hopefully, we'll be able to recreate them at some stage. So, Beneath the Eyrie, how did you feel about that album?
Definitely a grower. I was really excited about the podcast when they were announced.
Everyone loves a podcast.
But but I have to admit, after maybe 2 or 3 episodes, I thought I wasn't quite getting it. I wasn't quite getting what I was hearing musically.
Mm-hmm.
And once upon a time, again, my other big love is film. You know, I'd want to know everything about a film before it came out. But these days, I've sort of turned it on its head, and I almost don't want to know a thing. I don't mind reading a headline review, you know, 2 stars, 5 stars. And I think I felt like I was going to spoil the experience with the podcast. But I think it was the Friday was the Cardiff gig. So that was the day it was released last year. So I think I had to work a half day. And then it was right, let's get in the car, down to Cardiff, get there early, get my digs sorted.
Yeah.
You know, so Apple Music. I pre-ordered the vinyl from my local independent record store, coloured vinyl, and so yeah, I streamed it through the car hi-fi through God knows what wires or whatever, and I liked it. I took to it quite quickly. I wasn't quite sure what my favourite tracks were at the time. I probably might have got through from maybe 2 listens between Cheltenham and Cardiff.
Okay, that's all right. Yeah.
So liked it.
And who was supporting them then? Was that Slow Show as well that night?
Oh no, it was Big Moon.
It was Big Moon, was it?
It was Big Moon, who we got to see again in Birmingham.
That's right. Yeah.
Cardiff, their sound. I mean, because we were on the front rail. I remember when I saw Pixies on the not Indie Cindy Head Carrier tour. I found the sound in Cardiff. I don't know whether it was a poor mixing desk at the time, but Pixies on Head Carrier in Cardiff. The bass was really, I don't know, fluttery.
Yeah.
It was heavy but fluttery. It wasn't. And when but Pixies in Cardiff last year were absolutely fine. But when Big Moon came on supporting, the underlying bass wasn't right. So the sound in Cardiff for Big Moon wasn't great last year. But Pixies, they were, the sound was superb for them. So
yeah,
I think it's more probably at the mixing desk or somewhere in between. But no, Big Moon, liked Big Moon.
Yeah, they were good. I enjoyed them.
Cardiff.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Excellent. Brilliant. Okay. So we're pretty much coming to the end of our time together.
My tummy's rumbling.
Your tummy's rumbling. Oh, sorry about that. Well, am I keeping you from your... I saw those. You posted about those, didn't you, earlier on in the week?
I haven't got shares in Seabrook, but you do need to try these, Chris. £1 round.
Okay.
£1.6.
Sorry, how much?
£1 for 6-pack.
That's too much for me.
Too much, okay.
Maybe Jordan will buy me some. I've got to find this. I've got to find the question. Here we go. So, you know what's coming. It's a question I've been asking people intermittently. You're having one of those awful dreams where suddenly you've been put on stage naked in front of a huge crowd and they are all waiting for you to sing a song. Which Pixies song are you going to sing? Now,
I'm fortunate.
And you haven't got your skateboard. You haven't got your skateboard to cover your modesty either.
Okay. I would sing Cecilia Ann.
Cecilia Ann. Brilliant. Okay. Who wouldn't?
I know it's a cover, but hey.
You'd need some cover, I think.
Probably, yeah. Either that or I think it'll be In Heaven.
Which obviously the audience would be.
Well, yeah.
At least half of them, maybe. Don't know which half. But... Mate, it's been great to spend some time with you. Thank you so much. I need to get an early night because my next interview is the other side of the world. So, but more on that tomorrow. So, great to spend time with you.
On the continent?
Well, it's the other side of the world. Literally the other side of the world.
Antipodean.
Possibly. Yeah.
All right.
So.
But yes, it's been a pleasure, Andrew.
Thank you very much.
To meet you. Great job. It's a great community. It's been great to be part of it for a year or so. It's been brilliant, and I do look forward to gigs rehappening and getting to meet some more of seeing the people I've met again.
Yeah.
And meeting some more people. It's fantastic.
And hopefully we can.
At the start of lockdown.
Absolutely, yeah.
Sunday night, that was good.
Yeah, we might revive those possibly. I'll speak to the wife about that. She makes all those sort of decisions.
So, yeah,
hopefully we can share a pint of Guinness before and after a Pixies gig in the not too distant future.
Absolutely.
Okay, mate.
I'm going to Ireland next year.
Are you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I kept all of my tickets from this year.
Good man. Fantastic.
Cool. Nice one.
Good to see you, buddy. You take care.
Cheers.
Bye.